The child's voice cut through the afternoon humidity like a whip crack. "Please look under your bikes." 8 years old, trembling against the roadhouse wall, he faced 12 men the entire town whispered about in dread. Steel vipers, bikers who'd been branded outlaws for 15 years. But Jamal Washington had overheard something behind the feed store that morning, something that turned his stomach to ice. The sheriff, the town's golden boy, stashing drugs beneath their motorcycles. A setup, a stitch-up, a betrayal wrapped in the flag of law and order. Now those men were heading toward their rides, blissfully clueless. And behind them, police sirens wailed nearer. Jamal had heartbeats to choose. Keep quiet and secure, or spill the facts and gamble it all. His coming words would crack a town's fairy tale wide open. The Georgia sun hammered down on the splintered pavement of Ruby's Roadhouse parking lot with the sort of ferocity that turned the air thick and wavy. It was just past noon on a Saturday in late July, and the mercury had already spiked to 102 degrees. The Roadhouse hunkered on the edge of Willow Creek, a weathered joint with peeling blue trim and a buzzing neon sign that had been hawking the best sweet tea in Georgia since 1992. The place had weathered harder storms, but it endured as a hub for the locals, a spot for midday plates and neighborhood chatter in equal parts. 8-year-old Jamal Washington hugged the gritty cinder block wall of the Roadhouse, his slim build quaking even in the smothering swelter. His scuffed high tops crunched the dirt as he willed himself to vanish, but his gaze locked on the line of motorcycles lined up like soldiers by the door. Polished metal flashed in the brutal light, and the signature growl of Harley-Davidson mills had barely died, leaving a thrum that pulsed in his ribs. The boy's rich brown skin shone with sweat, unrelated to the blaze, his tight curls plastered to his brow. His fingers trembled gripping a frayed drawstring bag to his chest, his breaths ragged and shallow. He'd witnessed something foul, something monstrous, and now he teetered between the grip of horror at his secret and the dread of voicing it to the crew inside. Through the Roadhouse's smudged storefront glass, Jamal spotted them. 12 guys in denim cuts stitched with badges declaring loyalty to the Steel Vipers Motorcycle Club, a crew rooted in Willow Creek for the last 15 years. Their cuts sported the signature skull emblem and sprawled across their shoulders, the label that had folks in town dodging sidewalks or double-locking gates. Steel Vipers. The headman claimed the front of 2 shoved-together tables, a fella pushing 45, with salt and pepper locks tied back in a tail, and a mug toughened by countless miles on back roads. They called him Darius Hammer Jenkins, and he earned his sway not with fists, but with a bedrock code of brotherhood and a track record of standing by his bond. Flanking him were his riders, fellas with trail handles like Blaze, Bolt, and Shadow, each carrying tails carved in marks and tattoos. Jamal knew their lore. The whole town did. Willow Creek murmured about them in low tones at Sunday suppers and rec center meetups. Folks cautioned their young ones to steer clear. Shopkeepers eyed them hawk-like when they rolled in. Cops patrolled their hangout tighter than any other stretch of road. They were drifters on purpose, and the neighborhood had thrown up barricades of doubt and alarm in reply. But Jamal knew another side. 4 months back, when his mama's truck had stalled on Route 16 amid a gully washer, it had been Blaze who'd eased his hog to the shoulder, who'd labored 2 hours in the downpour coaxing the motor back to life, who'd waved off the $20 his mama tried shoving into his oil-smeared palm. "Pass it on, ma'am," the giant had grunted, rain sluicing over his braided beard. As Mama had sobbed the drive back, not from fright, but from regret over her own blind spots. That flash lit Jamal's thoughts as he watched Darius toss his head in a guffaw at some quip from Bolt. They seemed so everyday, so real, passing baskets of okra fries and mugs of tea like regular Joes. It ratcheted up the terror of his mission, forcing him to own that the boogeymen in tales might run deeper than the yarns allowed. The kid's limbs weighed like anchors as he peeled from the wall at last. His pulse thrashed his breastbone like it aimed to punch free. Every fiber yelled to bolt, to track his mama to her register at the market 2 blocks over, to dump this on grown folks. But the clock was ruthless. He'd caught their scheme. He knew the play scripted for when those riders hit their hogs. The roadhouse door loomed like a vault as Jamal nudged it wide. The overhead chime tinkled, a perky jingle that clashed with the load he bore. Talk hushed as faces swiveled to the threshold. Jamal sensed 12 stares pinning him, weighing, probing. His throat turned to sand. "Lil man, you turned around?" The drawl came from a younger rider, early 30s with full-arm ink and a wary squint. His palm had drifted to his cut's edge, a reflex honed by endless side-eye. Jamal's words escaped as a rasp. "I gotta holler at y'all." Darius eased back in his seat, face a blank slate. The joint had dropped dead quiet. Even Miss Etta, the 62-year-old server who'd slung hash at Ruby's since Jamal's diaper days, had halted mid-pour, teapot hovering. The strain hung heavy, a beast clawing at Jamal's lungs and choking his air. "You gotta holler at us," Darius echoed, tone even, guarded. "What's your handle, Chief?" "Jamal," the kid gulped, gaze flicking to the glass, to the lot yonder. "Jamal Washington, my mama. You towed her truck in that storm." Dawn broke on Blaze's features. The hulking rider dipped his chin deliberate. "I 'member your mama." "Aight, she good." Jamal edged nearer, then closer still. His pins felt unmoored from his frame, trucking on fumes while his skull blared alarms. "But y'all ain't. Not one of ya. Not if you hit them bikes." The room's vibe flipped on a dime. Palms loose on glasses stiffened, gazes idle sharpened to blades. Darius rose measured, his stool dragging the tile with a screech that made Jamal jump. "What you sayin'?" The chief's timbre stayed level, but iron laced it now. Jamal's vision blurred with hot pricks, yet he locked stares. "Please," he breathed, then firmer, frantic. "Please check under your bikes. Something's there, something foul. I heard 'em schemin'. They fixin' to burn y'all." "Who them, Jamal?" Darius had bridged the gap, now hunkered to the kid's height. Close up, Jamal clocked the warmth in his peepers, belying the crags of his grill. "Who aimin' to burn us?" But afore Jamal could spit it, sirens sliced the thick air. Squad cars, 3 at least, nosed into the lot, cherries blazing. Out the pane, Jamal made out badges spilling out, mitts on irons, locked on the bike parade, and trailing, unfolding from a sleek cruiser with a smirk that chilled Jamal's veins, stood the dude he'd eavesdropped on, Sheriff Harlan "Buck" Reynolds, Willow Creek's upright pillar, elder at Mount Zion Baptist, and per the hushed plot Jamal had stumbled on behind Tate's feed that dawn, a cat who'd just tucked contraband under 12 Harley-Davidsons. Darius tracked the kid's line of sight, and clarity bloomed on his mug like dawn over the marsh. "Well now," he murmured, mostly to his lonesome. "That's the game, huh?" The roadhouse portal flew wide, and Sheriff Reynolds swaggered in, bearing the swagger of a man dead sure he was about to purge Willow Creek's woes in one clean sweep. His threads were crisp, star-polished, mug set in sour triumph. "Darius Jenkins," he boomed, timbre thick with bogus clout. "Got a writ to shake down your rides off a solid snitch on dope. Need you and your crew to file out, paws high and visible." For a beat, stone still, the 12 Vipers perched rigid, crunching angles and fallout. Jamal bridged them and the sheriff, a shaky shield of skin and grit, and Darius stayed low by the kid, one paw light on Jamal's trap like a shield, not a shove. "Sheriff," Darius drawled at length, undertone halting Reynolds cold. "Before we mosey, reckon you ought to hear this. This young'un just spared our hides, or tried his damnedest. Burst in here shaking like a leaf to tip us some fool tucked heat under our rides. Now why'd an 8-year-old buck the pack the whole town's drilled him to dodge? Less he knew for gospel we was marked." Reynolds's mug drained ashen, then flushed beet, flipping hues like a busted stoplight. "Kids mixed up or fibbing to shield y'all?" "No, sir," Jamal piped, his tone shocking the room, himself included, steady as slate. "Ain't no lie. Spotted you this mornin' hind Tate's feed. You and Deputy Ramirez totin' baggies, clear ones with powder inside. You jawed the steel vipers was a plague on Willow Creek. Time to carve it out. Your very words. Time to carve." The hush that hit was total. Even the galley froze. The line cook framed in the pass-through, flipper limp in his grip. Miss Etta's teapot quivered, dribbling a dark trail to the boards like summer drizzle. Sheriff Reynolds' paw inched to his sidearm, and right then, Jamal caught the man's mask crack into raw, cornered ugly. But 4 sparks flew, Darius lunged quick for his bulk. He bundled Jamal rearward, slotting his frame twixt kid and law while flashing empty palms in truce. "Easy now," Darius boomed, timbre laced with boss-level pull. "Ain't nobody got to play fool. Sheriff, here's my deal. We all stroll out side by side. You, me, your backups, every soul in this joint who cares to peep the show. We'll eyeball them rides in full daylight with eyes wide open. Whatever turns up, we square it here. Now, for the Lord and the lot." "I don't dicker with felons," Reynolds snarled, but his trigger finger had eased off. The gallery's glow, Miss Etta filming steady, a fistful of other patrons whipping out cells, had flipped the math. "Then you clean," Darius riposted cool. "If we crooks with snow on our hogs, you bag us, cuff us, play savior like the town eats up. But if that kid's straight, and reckon we both clock he is, then your mess dwarfs a bike gang." The tick stretched elastic, sheer as glass. Jamal tasted his pulse in his gullet, metallic panic on his tongue. All he'd absorbed on good versus grime, guts versus gutless, snap judgments, crashed here in this crux. At last, Reynolds jerked a nod. "Aight, your play, but when I unearth what's waitin', y'all rot long and deep." They streamed into the savage midday glare, a odd caravan of riders, badges, roadhouse regulars, and one lil fella who'd somehow turned the town's teeter-totter. The hogs shimmered pure in their tidy rank, steel and hide, whispers of endless blacktop. Darius hit his scoot first, a '92 Harley Fat Boy he'd pieced from scrap. He dropped deliberate, telegraphing every twitch for the throng, and peered below. His grill locked stone. "Anybody got a cell with flash?" he called soft. "Folks gonna want to clock this." Blaze hopped first, his tank-like build spry as he knelt by Darius. The big fella's usual chill mask knotted with fury and payback. He fished his burner, thumbs nimble on the glass as he fired the lens under Darius's Fat Boy. "Lord have mercy," Blaze exhaled, his rumble booming the mute lot. "Y'all catchin' this?" Jamal stood twixt Miss Etta and his mama, who dashed from the market on a tip. LaToya Washington's hold crushed his ribs near to creakin'. But he stayed mum. From his perch, he peeped Blaze's screen as the feed swept slow under the hog. There, lashed with zip cords to the undercarriage, hung 3 see-through pouches, each packed about 2 pounds of chalky crystals. But the gas browser wasn't the haul alone. It was the extra the lens snagged. A wee GPS bug, still pulsing faint crimson, and stamped bold on each sack, peeking through the wrap, an evidence sticker from the Chatham County Sheriff's Office. "Them's lock-up bags," a voice in the pack breathed. "Official county issue." Sheriff Reynolds' coloring had bled from crimson to corpse pale. "Can't be," Some thief jacked him from the vault and dropped him to pin. Pin who exactly, Sheriff? Darius had risen, now pacing the bike queue, methodical, probing each belly with the focus of a soul whose fate rode on the haul. Pin y'all. 'Cause that's the frame job screamin'. Them tags, serialized, traceable. Every pouch checked out leaves a trail. Ink, clock, nod. Bet my leathers when the brass audits that log, your tag's tattooed all over. Deputy Ramirez, a fresh-faced badge 2 years in, had blanched. His mitt shook, yanking his cell to snap the tableau. "Sheriff," he cracked, "we got a loop in state boys now." "You gon' do no such," Reynolds barked, his cool shattering like frost on a windshield. Cracks spidering from the bullseye hit. "I run law hereabouts, and I'm telling you to—" "To what?" Darius cut in, low but laser-edged. "Aid your Barry? Go in on slinging dirt on clean folks? 'Cause that's us, Sheriff. Spotless. All 12. We wheel iron and flash cuts that spook the squares. But we vote. We served." Blaze there pulled double shifts in Fallujah. Bolt mans the food bank Saturdays. Shadow runs free rider clinics for high schoolers. He closed on Reynolds. And though 3 inches shy and 20 lighter, Darius loomed somehow. "We the citizens you vowed to back, and 'stead you pegged us too rough, too alien, too far from your tidy corral to rate cover. You aimed to wreck us over rubbin' elbows." Miss Etta shoved through the press. Cell steady. "Known you 25 years, Buck Reynolds. Your granny and me quilted circles. Watched you badge up from deputy, cheered your star, and I'm swearin' for this crowd you soiled your tin and stained this town." More pipes chimed in. Mr. Tate from the feed. "Ain't never beefed with these cats. Cash on the nail. Manners straight. No static." Mrs. Ramirez, the deputy's mama who helmed the branch library. "They slipped $6,000 to our Reedon Drive last Yuletide. No name, but I knew Bolt's scrawl on the note." The swell was surging, and Jamal sensed it in the pack's vibe flip. Souls who'd veered wide of vipers now ringed 'em defensive. Cells captured every slant. The facts streamed live, unburyable. Sheriff Reynolds's paw crept to his piece anew, and this go, Deputy Ramirez blocked twixt him and Darius. "Hold," the rook barked solid. "Sir, don't stack worse on the pile, please." For a flash, Jamal figured the sheriff might yank iron. The wild in Reynolds' eyes screamed trapped beast, but then fresh wails pierced the strain. 3 state trooper cruisers rolled up, summoned by some clear head in the mob. The next hour blurred in a haze of affidavits, bagging, and the grind of gutting a bent cop's empire. State techs eased off and tagged every pouch from every underbelly. They snapped the stickers, logged the bugs, grilled every soul on site. Jamal ran his yarn thrice, once to a trooper, once to a sleuth. Last to a lady from Youth Services Keene, he grasped his clean hands. Each round his mama clasped his paw, and each time Darius and his pack loomed close, a quiet bulwark of hide and steel that buffered more than spooked. It was Deputy Ramirez who unearthed the clincher. In Reynolds' cruiser, wedged under the wheel well, squatted a ledger crammed with dates, clocks, blueprints. The sheriff had scripted tight, charting his purge of Willow Creek's road scum. Scribbles on pinching dope from the stash, blueprints for the drop, tallies on stretches each viper would draw. But deeper in the ledger lurked worse, stalling even the jaded state dicks. A roster of other tags, Latino handles, black handles. The sort hinting Reynolds' bile ran wider than bike beef. He'd stacked files on any he tagged unfit, any straying his pinched take on Willow Creek's makeup. "He's run this scam years," the head dick murmured to Darius as dusk stretched the shade. "Gotta scrub every bust he breathed on, every collar he cut. Plenty innocents likely rotten 'cause of him." Darius nodded grave. And if that kid hadn't manned up, 12 more cleans be cell-bound. As if called, Jamal sidled tentative. His mom had been tugged by a counselor, stranding him brief. He halted yards off Darius, bashful fresh despite the fray. "Sup," Darius coaxed soft, dropping to knee again. "You holdin', Jamal?" The kid bobbed, but his lids were puffy. "Scared," he owned. "Near clammed up. Near just ghosted home and played dumb." "But you didn't," Darius said. "You picked spine over flight when your gut hollered bail. Know how scarce that runs? How gold?" Jamal shook his crown. "Folks say y'all poison. Crooks, pushers, bruisers." "I clock the chatter," Darius owned. His drawl was velvet but burdened. Strata of ache and ire banked tight. Strangers spook 'em so they spin yarns to feed the jitters. Simpler swallowing the nightmare than meeting a soul who rolls odd or dwells off-grid. "But y'all ain't poison," Jamal pressed. "Look the part, sure, but ain't. Just folks." Darius grinned, softening his road-rutted face near tender. "Truth, Chief. Just folks. Some botched young. Some shipped home from dust-ups and couldn't slot back civilian. Some just hooked on hogs and highway wind. But we all grind to square up and guard our own. That's kin." Blaze ambled up, his bulk eclipsing him. "Lil man pulled our coals today, Hammer. Whole squad." "He did," Darius owned. "Now payback?" Jamal blinked lost. "Y'all owe nothing. I just—" "Right call don't square the tab," Blaze growled. "In our lane, lifesavers rack debt. Gotta settle." The kid's peepers blew wide, spooked. "Don't want cash or nothing. Swear, just aimed to pitch in." Darius chuckled true, easing the day's coil. "Not green, Jamal. We ain't cartel. But you etched in our book now. Willed or no. You backed us solo. That slots you under wing. Anybody jams you, they jam the nest." "For real?" Jamal's peep was tiny, chancy. "Real," Darius sealed. "Kin now, Lil blood." As the sun dipped to the coastal rim, streaking the vault in rust and violet, the swarm thinned. Sheriff Reynolds got marched off ironed, mug-slack with stun and denial. State crews locked the site, scooped the dregs, kicked off the slog of unraveling years of rot. But in Ruby's lot, fresh stirred. Souls who'd shunned vipers decades now edged up, ginger but earnest. Sorry swapped even, yarns unfurled, walls 15 years thick started fisherin'. Mrs. Ramirez hauled a spread of po-boys she'd whipped domestic, dodgin' all tenders. Mr. Tate becked Bolt to drag his rig by the feed for a gratis tweak, his nod to steady trade through frosty stares. Even Miss Etta, who'd plated vipers brisk for a decade and a half, fetched a fresh urn of tea and parked at their booth to sip. Jamal soaked it from his mama's flank, drained but glued, LaToya's paw on his trap, now and then squeezin', a mute morse of swell and care, and echo dread at the near miss. "You shone today, sugar," LaToya murmured low. "Shone real. But Lord, don't make me test my ticker like that again." Jamal melted 'gainst her. "Mama, you reckon folks'll switch on 'em now? The vipers?" She mulled long, eyeing Darius crack up at Miss Etta's jab as Blaze demoed his mill to a knot of tweens as Bolt clasped Mr. Tate's mitt. "Reckon," she said at last. "Today flipped a switch. Not all, not forever, but a flip. And that's change's creep. Not boom, but in beats like this, when eyes gotta clock facts over fables." As night cloaked and the crew at last scattered, Darius hit Jamal final, profferin' a leather cuff, plain but sturdy, with a wee brass trinket-shaped hog. "This was my boys," he said hushed. "Gone 5 years back, sickle cell, near your years when it hit." Jamal's wind hitched. "Can't claim this. Too dear." That's why it fits you, Darius urged, folding it in the kid's palm. My lil one had grit his way, battling that thief daily, no gripes, grins locked. Schooled me guts, ain't no fear. It's right callin' through the shakes. You sparked that in me today. Sparked why we scrap for square and kin. Why pack counts. Claim it. Clock folks outrun their shell. Clock facts worth the fray, shakes and all. Jamal gripped the cuff, salt tracks slicing his cheeks. Gone hold it, swear. As the Washingtons trekked home neath budding lamps, Jamal glanced rear to catch vipers forkin' their rides, mills snarlin' alive. They peeled from the lot tight, beams slicin' murk, not the menace towned spun, but their core. Kin, shields, and now, through one gutsy kid, clocked true. Night gulped their roar, but Jamal knew that growled echo his skull eternal. Not threat, but truth, thundering gloom, steady and unchained. 3 days post what the Willow Creek Gazette tagged the lot unmaskin', the town wrestled its mirror. The yarned leaped Chatham County, snagged by Georgia wires, then nationals. Miss Etta's clipped blown up, pushing 5 million hits in 72 ticks, a lil kid tippin' vipers while a crooked sheriff's plot imploded. Jamal Washington had flipped viral, though he craved the fade desperate. Cam rigs camped his plain 3-bed on Magnolia Lane till his mama menaced callin' the sheriff scraps. Stringers wrapped neighbor stoops for sound bites. His flip phone, a basic his mama'd gifted for SOS, hummed non-stop with tags from ghosts. LaToya Washington had yanked their rotary and killed Jamal's data, riggin' a privacy bunker in a world gone nosy. She'd burned a week's shift at Tate's Market, cash and vacay she'd hoarded for a jaunt they couldn't swing, just to anchor her boy through the gale. Now, Wednesday morn, Jamal hunched at their Formica slab, pokin' a mushy grits bowl. The cuff Darius had passed dangled his arm, the mini hog glintin' pain light. Out front, the blocked hushed some. Cams had chased hotter feeds, though stray hounds still prowled for spin. Mama, Jamal piped soft, got to ITREC school tomorrow? LaToya parked her mug with a soft thunk on the scarred top. She'd braced for this chat. Sugar, we jawed it. Can't duck eternal, and your crew misses you. Malik rang twice yesterday. Malik's the lone who don't clock me odd, Jamal tallied. Rest? Gone paint me fresh, like some caped wonder. You that wonder, Jamal? What you pulled? I shook. The dam broke fierce. Shook so bad near hurled. Ain't gutsy, ain't gold. Just did what anybody'd. LaToya circled the slab, yanking her boy tight, feeling the knot in his narrow back. Most wouldn't, baby. Gospel you got a bank. Most grown wouldn't muster your play. Shakes don't dock guts. They amp 'em, 'cause you pushed through. A rap at the frame cut 'em. LaToya stiffened Otto, primed to shoe another ink slinger. But peepin' the fisheye, she clocked a known mug. Darius Jenkins solo on her stoop, in khakis and a blank tee, sans cut. He cut smaller bare, plainer, though his gaze held that still fire. LaToya cracked the door wary. Mr. Jenkins. Darius, ma'am. Know this might ride intrusion, mama, and I apologize droppin' unbecked, but I'd jaw Jamal if that's square by you. If not, I bounce clean. She scanned him long. This dude her son had hazarded all to spare. This dude town had spooked decades. At last, she swung wide. In. Tea. Gracious. Thanks. Jamal peeped from the slab as Darius crossed, stun mixin' ease on his grill. Sup, the kid breathed. Sup yourself, lil blood. Darius snagged a stool, easin' in with a loose vibe that soothed Jamal's edge. Your mama says the spotlight's gnawin'. Jamal bobbed glum. All want my yarn, all quiz, and school, gone be twisted, folks gone stare fresh. Yeah, Darius owned plain. Gone. That itch don't fade, sorry. When you pop, When you flash big, they lock you new. Some throne you, some salt you. Most squirm 'cause you mirror their sideline. Ain't helpin', Latoya snapped, plunkin' a mug for Darius, sharper in mint. He quirked a grin. No, but I don't sugar young'uns. Jamal rates straight. Here's the flip, though. Yeah, twisted. But you pick it spin. Let it brand you or roll your road and let 'em stew their feels on the fallout. How? Jamal pressed. How I pull that? Darius nursed his tea, mullin. Gone spill club only dirt. At 20, I armied in Saudi, Gulf 1 dust-up. My squad ate ambush. Eyed my road dog, cat named Tyrone Hayes. Eat lead meant for me. He bled out my lap-waitin' birds. The galley stilled deep. Even Latoya, scrubbin' sinks, paused ear-cocked. Years stateside, Darius rolled on, steady but laden with ghosts. They dubbed me Ace. Served stellar, they jawed. Purple Heart, Silver Star Hall, but every thanks for the wear, stabbed Tyrone. How he left a bride and babe he never held. How I breathed, he didn't. Pure dice, wrong spot, wrong tick. That warn't you, Jamal husked. Clock that now. Years counselin' and grind to own it, but yeah. Point? They craved moldin' me myth. Symbol, ace, bigger'n a shook youth who outlived his ace. Long haul, I let their hype chew me raw. Swilled heavy, ghosted my ride or dies. Roamed years huntin' me sans their script. He leaned in, peepers pinned Jamal's. Pack hauled me. My blood gave ground to just be Darius. No ace, no vet, no icon. Just a hog fiend prizin' ride and square, livin' his lane. And that's my gift to you, Jamal. Not duckin' the glare that lingers, but clockin' you still, Jamal. 8-year sprout keen on... He paused, eyeing Latoya query. Games, she fed quiet. And ball, them wild docks on wolves, right? A sprout keen games, ball wolves. Your play stunned, but don't rewrite your route. Don't let their spin gaslight you. Jamal mulled deep, taking it in. Then, you still mull Tyrone, your road dog? Daily, Darius owned frank, but flipped now. Mull the shine. His cackle, corny cracks, noddin' off mid-sentence. Honor him by grindin' his spine level. Best we muster. A snug quiet draped the galley, broke just by the ticker's tick and far yard racket. At last, Jamal squared some. Choice plain. Aight, he said. Hit school tomorrow. But if it grinds raw, ring me, Darius jumped. He fished a pasteboard from his billfold, slid it, cross. My line, jam? Any jam? Hit me, clock or dark. Deadass. Latoya snagged the card. Scannin' maternal, weighin' threat to kin. At last, nod. Thanks, Darius. This hits deep. As Darius rose to bounce, Jamal vaulted his stool. Hold. Can I hit you? Shoot. What's next? For Reynolds, I mean, your pack. Darius grinned, but edged hard. Buckface's fed iron. Rights trample, proof fudge, badge abuse. State AG's gripped the probe. He sells bound, Jamal, not maybe. Done. And they scrubbin' his 25-year trail. Wrongs get fresh shots. Wreckage, but needful. And y'all? Darius shrugged. Still wheelin', still breathin'. Flip? Maybe eyes clock us true over assumed? That's our lone want. Tagged on deeds, not drapes. Post Darius, Latoya tugged Jamal tight anew. That man's waited infernos, she breathed. And dug grace to roll here, lift you. Bank that, sugar. Bank steel ain't unscratched. It's scarred and pickin' grace anyway. Jamal nodded her trap, feelin' the cuffs tug. Out, he caught faint hog growl distant, a noise forever flipped for him from town's spin. That evening, the bell chimed fresh. This round, Malik Brooks, Jamal's day one since pre-K, clutchin' a beat ball and rockin' forced regular. Bruh, Malik blurted no lead. You cooped 3 days. Plenty for TV reruns. Can we ball like norms? Jamal eyed his mama, who nodded, scarce hid relief. Kid out. That's law. They hit Brooks Field, a patchy green with bent frames, their stadium eternal. 20 ticks. They traded kicks in sweet hush. Games beat rinse in the rest. At last, grass lounged winded, Malik piped. Your move? Dope. Spooky, but dope. Word, Jamal quizzed. Yeah, Pop said you spared them cat cells for clean. Said Buck was scum. Said past time somebody checked him. Pop said scum? Malik bobbed. Said too he's shopped Tates with Viper's ears, and they prop doors for grannies, cover tabs for broke folks. Said town's been off base, but none own it, 'cause that owns their shade. Jamal sprawled grass back, scoping the endless Georgia blue. A buzzard wheeled high, ridin' drafts lazy. Reckon folks flip? Like deep flip their lens? Some, Malik weighed. Mama says that's grow, ownin' wrong and levelin', but she says some'd croak first. Sad. Yeah, but you flipped the script, Jamal. Counts. As they trekked home in evening gold, Jamal felt inner shift. Not strut exact, but calm own on the done and do. He'd vaulted norm for one blaze of spine, no rewind to prior. But maybe, he mused, that rode fine. Maturin meant shedding shells for fresh. Home, Latoya'd whipped his fave, gumbo with cornbread. Over bowls, she spun her Willow Creek Kid yarns, spells she'd felt outlier or shook or unmoored. Gift raw, this bare trade, and Jamal clocked it so. That night, bedded with the cuff on his lamp snag glintin' moon, Jamal caught hog hums far on the interstate. The snarl comforted now, near lull. He mulled Darius, Tyrone Hayes, Spine and Shakes, folks' tangled trails, mulled Sheriff Buck, how bias could warp to justice. But Chief, tomorrow, school stride, facin' whatever, still spooked. But Shakes, he grasped, warrant finale. Sometimes kickoff, first stride to unlock an unseen you. Out, night blanketed Willow Creek soft, lamps winkin' one by one in the marsh vault. And that gloom, 12 hogs wheeled tight, kin forged past cuts and ink, haulin' the know that rescue drops odd spots, and facts bared can't full cloak again. Thursday dawned with that sharp coastal crisp high marsh morn sling. Air nipped chill, though it'd fry by lunch. Jamal squared the lav sink, brush limp in fist, starin' his twin like a ghost. The sprout gazin' back seemed shifted, riper maybe, or etched by roads unseen. Gone tardy, Latoya hallooed galley-ward, but tender, graspin' this dawn's load. The hoof to Willow Creek Primary clocked 10 ticks. Path Jamal'd logged endless, but today each stride weighed. His pack sagged extra, though stuffed same slates and files. The cuff snagged dawn rays, mini hog flashin' vow or heads up. Malik nabbed him at elm and pine, like every dawn since primer. But unlike Norm's, Malik warn't solo. His big sis, Aisha, flanked, arms barred, mug fierce guard. Felt you need flank, she said flat. Aisha graded 8, near grown in Jamal's book, her vibe steel plate. They hoofed squad tight. Near's the yard, Jamal clocked knots of sprouts, guardians droppin' tads, masters wranglin' dawn bedlam, and felt the wave when they clocked him, buzz spreadin' like pebble in pond. Ms. Jefferson, his 4th grade handler, waited portal side. She hit 50s, warm but steel, specks on pearl strand, hummin' habit gradin' stacks. Spottin' Jamal, her mug melted complex. Swell-laced worry laced how-to on a charge sudden bigger'n 8. Jamal, she beamed. Glad you home. The room iced as he crossed. 20 gazes trailed to his nook by the pane. Jamal weighed their pull, the hangin' wise thick as pre-squall soup. He plunked, cracked his drawer, zoned sortin' sticks with bomb tech focus. "Set, class," Ms. Jefferson brisked, sniffin' the wire. "I know y'all buzzin' late buzz, seen the feeds, but Jamal's here to grind like y'all. Tough ticks, needs our norm and grace. Clear?" "Yes'm," chorused, but the itch burrowed, lurkin'. Dawn drills blurred in sums and word banks. Jamal ducked low, piped when tagged, tuned the murmurs and peeps. Recess, he and Malik claimed, hoop side usual, but ticks later ringed. "True you met real vipers?" quizzed Devin Hayes, 5th grader. "Drugs real under hogs?" pushed Tia Grant, lids saucer morbid. "Pops says Buck bent years," chipped Kai Brooks. Said all knew, none moved. Queries flew quicker in Jamal's parry. Interest barrage feelin' more grill than geek. He shrunk inward when a shrill peep pierced. Aisha Brooks loomed, hips cocked, glarin' the ring with 8th grade clout. "Scatter," she ordered. "Ain't zoo. Want the drop? Hit wires like rest, unstick." The ring peeled slow, grumpy, but peeled. Malik shot cis props while Jamal rained his jackhammer. "Thanks," he eked. Aisha shrugged, but kind. "Curious turns folks fools. Don't aim mean, but land. You'll skin up, sorta." She paused, softer. "Mama says your playtop's brave, she's clocked. Says most grown lack that fire. So don't let fools fade your shine." Lunch eased. Jamal, Malik, knot of crew at Norm's slab, chat drifted regular. Fall fair bets, if Mr. Hayes'd make good on summer script threat, which Cape'd clap hypotheticals. Blessed plain, and Jamal uncoiled first all dawn, but truce short. Afternoon crafts, mid-view sketches, a gal named Keisha from class sidled his bench, solo unlike Dawn's swarm, mug grave over geek. "Jamal?" she hushed. "Minute?" They ducked hall, pretext for stock paper, real for hush. Keisha wrung her mitts jittery, dodging his gaze. "My kin," she owned final. "He's locked in Reedsville. Nabbed 2 years back on hold, but swore frame. Said badge dropped it in his whip on a stop. None bought 'cause he's black, tats, juvie dust, jury stamped in 45. Jamal's gut iced heavy. "Buck?" Keisha bobbed, wet risin'. "Aunt peeped the wire. Rang weepin'. Maybe now they listen. Maybe Devin gets redo." She met his stare, raw, beggin'. "You peep Buck droppin'?" "Sure?" "Sure," Jamal soft. "Heard him brag he'd run it prior. Cleanin' Willow Creek is cut years runnin'." Keisha half-choked laugh sob. "Devin got a sprout. 4 then, 7 now. Missed her run-up, all 'cause he looked crook." She swiped, fierce. "Just thanks. You weren't just sparing vipers. Maybe Devin, too. Gave shot." Post-Keisha class, Jamal lingered hall long, staring through artboard sans see. He'd grasped Buck's rot-hit Wider'n Vipers abstract, but brain no and facin' it in classmates' brined stare? Worlds apart. Quit bell peeled 3:15, unleashin' flood to evenin' blaze. Latoya idled pickup queue. Jamal hopped shotgun, slumps door lean, spent bone-deep sans sweat. "That rough?" Latoya coaxed. "Not rough exact," Jamal said. "Just heap. All want yarn. All a pine or quiz or spill. This gal Keisha, her kin's penned 'cause Buck. Thanked me for maybe fresh shot." Latoya mulled navigatin' lot out. "How's that sit?" "Spooked," Jamal owned. "Like I towed 'em all now. Like if Devin don't free, my bad. Like if I'd piped sooner, maybe 3 years back." "Oh, sugar." Latoya veered a shuttered pump pad, twistin' to her boy. "Nah, full stop. You ate. Keisha's kin. Any Buck burned? That's his load. System handin' one cat unchecked reins, skimpy watch. You ain't fixin' decades bent. You blazed bold when it knocked. That's ask all. But, no but, Latoya locked. Deadass, Jamal. Can't shoulder strange pain. It snaps you. Nod it. Care it. But don't claim it. Clock me? Jamal bobbed slow, though doubt clung. Load still pressed chest like brick. They motored home Mum, but cozy Mum, wordless sink kin share. Driveway pull. Jamal clocked stoop box. Plain board, no sender. In, a scrawl in blockman script. Jamal, heard school redip today. Fished you'd dig brain break. These hauled me post-rotation when noise crushed complicate. Keep spinin' bold, lil blood, but clock kid too. Darius. Box cradled 6 wolf docs on disc, all wild packs and wood lore. Plus a Charco sketch. Pro hand clear. Lil boy braced twixt hogline and cruiser, etched sharp. Bass. Same script. Guts ain't shake-free. It's stride through. Jamal cradled the draw, studying how the lines nabbed not just frame, but feel. The kid's hunch fear, but stance grit. Was, he got, Darius's lens on him, maybe his own need learn. That night they spun first doc, epic wolf hunt in Yellowstone wilds. Latoya popped corn. They bunked couch knit, letting the guides drawl and crisp wood roll rinse 'em. 90 ticks, Jamal pure sprout wolfin', Mama's arm drape, world way eased temp. But later, bedded with draw-propped lamp where moon snagged, real resettled. Tomorrow more quiz. Glare, folks pinnin' symbol over Jamal. Devon's kin and scores waitin' if fair might land. Vipers still threadin' town, slow thawin' 15-year frost. And through, Jamal supposed to ate it. Script fret, ball drill, if Mama'd stretch sat night. Load real, duty real. But so, Jamal grasped. The net. Darius pack, Mama's fire love, crew like Malik, flanks like Aisha, souls like Keisha needin' truth tell. All web he fresh clocked. He grazed the cuff, Mullen Tyrone Hayes, soldier youth shieldin' his ace. How mourn and blame recarve lives. Darius outrun that. Found load hallway. Maybe Jamal could. Out, night thrummed frog croak and far dog bay and pines. Somewhere Willow Creek, 12 hogs garaged, steel sheen gloom, testaments bias-faced, facts bared. Somewhere, bent sheriff celled, at last reapin' unchecked rain's toll. Somewhere, kin like Keisha's dared bank fare warrant smoke. And in a tight boudoir in plain digs on Magnolia Lane, a sprout Jamal shut lids, drillin' Aiton amid totin' witness to vast. Balance unasked, but one he crept, ginger, to grip. 6 weeks slipped like marsh rain cupped, here and vapor twin. Summer owned Willow Creek full, temps kissin' 105 degron. Evenin' squalls spawnin' nowhere, soakin' swift, ghostin' quicker. The yarn toppin' wires local and wide dipped headlines, bumped by rawer rubs and scandals. But Willow Creek inner, shocks rolled quiet deep, reshapin' turf subtle profound. State agent audited 289 ties to Harlan Buck Reynolds' 24-year badge run. Of 'em, 74 screamed foul, dropped proof, cooked logs, peep strong arm, slant hunts peggin' any buck tagged unfit for his Willow Creek cut. 19 freed already, stamps flipped. 37 appeals grindin'. Keisha's kin Devon topped freed. Jamal'd been Tates with Mama when he clocked the mash. Fella late 20s, lean from lockup, but lids brimmed. Crushin' a gal 7 now who'd been 4 gone. Sprouted hung back shy, chary of this strange claimin' pops. But Devon patient, soft. And soon she clambered his hold, latched like glue. Keisha'd caught Jamal peepin', sidled, own lids raw but grin. Thanks. Flat, and Jamal bobbed wordless, no phrase fitting that tick. But not all cheered. Free and stamped crooks, even wronged, sparked town blaze. Forums boiled. Chronicle letters swung twixt reckon and rantin' releases reckless overkill. Town split, chewin' decades foul while wrestlin' own hand in it. Through, vipers held smart shadow. No chase light, no duck. Kept weekly good. Shelter shifts, rider drills, no name drops to spots. But now, stead blind or side-eye, folks clocked real. Darius fielded wire sits tight, hammerin' wide over personal score. "Ain't us," he'd clipped in one viral bite. "System lettin' bias badge up as law. Dozens kin ripped 'cause power pegged 'em wrong. Look, wrong walk, wrong belong. We lucked, had a peep bold to pipe, mull all who didn't." Saturday dawn early sept, Jamal stirred to hog snarl down Magnolia, peeped pain to full viper's parked stoop. Darius spear. Mama porch side already, arms crossed but quirked. Jamal yanked threads, dashed out, shy in worn jams and tea-faded wolf. "What's poppin'?" Darius killed Mill, slung off slick. "Mornin', lil' blood, pitch for you. Pack ridin' Blackwater Lake today. Spread dip beat this roast. Wondered if you and Mom'd roll." LaToya shook, startin' no, but Jamal jumped first. "Can we, Mama, please?" She scanned her boy, catchin' spark long doused. Past 6 weeks, Jamal'd gone quiet, withdrawn. School thrilled, soured to rote drag. Scribed bald Malik, pitched house, but heavy hung worrisome. Now first spark in weeks lit his peep. "Don't aim crowd," she weighed. "Wouldn't," Blaze grunted saddle. "Half haulin' kin. Pack do, but folks water Saturday. No push, no script. Fished the sprouted dig pack real sans bent badge framin'." Hour on, Jamal perched Darius back, arms round the man's core, mill thrum vibrating full. Mama trailed her whip with Bolt's lady Tia, who'd portured with warm beam and vow she'd ease LaToya welcome. Blackwater Trek clocked 25, trailin' 80 east through Georgia Heart. Clay banks, pine thicket, sky endless. Jamal'd ne'er hogged prior, and past shakes sank the sway, graspin' first why cats like Darius chased this free. Blackwater sprawled small pond-ringed rust boulders glowin' dawn amber. Vipers had staked wide picnic flat, and by Washington drop, flipped kin bash. Tads darted rocks tag. Ladies, spouses, gals, sibs, rigged spreads heavy eats. Dudes clustered pits, jawin' amiable on patty flip. So raw Norm Jamal reeled. These towns spooked 15 years. These scum guardians warned. Here, beefin' buns, chasin' tykes, beach rags like any water Saturday. "Stunned?" Darius quizzed, tracking Jamal's scan. "Kinda," Jamal owned. "Knew y'all clean, but this, folks." "Yeah," Darius owned. "Just hog lovers prize and ride. Wild notion, huh?" Morn rolled. Jamal wove pack-easy stun. Bald mix squad. Vipers, their sprouts, a cutthroat granny garden goal like bowl end. Dipped pond chill, leapin' slabs under shadow's hawk, ex-pool pro. Gorged slaw and maters, laughed true first in weeks. LaToya shaded with Tia, 3 more ladies, unearthin' shared moorin' guest. Jawed sprout-rearin' trials, feed costs, scrapin' and grind keepin' one check from cliff. Jawed glare their folds 8, tags folks slung, where of provin' worth endless. "Ain't just pack," Tia hushed. Mid-30s, braided tight, lids hintin' storms her calm masked. "Bolts patched. Daddy off White Earth res. How many store tails? Cop stops for fit? Cut just stacked excuse to threat?" "Shamed," LaToya owned low. "Drove your den hundreds, ne'er mulled y'all real, swallowed the spin." "Most do," Tia no salt. "Bias 101. Easy biker bad fable over layers. But you hear? You eyein' facts. Tops most pull." As shade stretched, Darius rallied all. Not grass loose, Grown and young mixed. Jamal slotted twixt Mama and Blaze, big paw light his trap. Gotta say, Darius boomed clear. 6 weeks back, Liv's flipped 'cause one sprout piped bold. Jamal Washington could have ghosted. Pegged it grown mess. None'd fault. 8, staring down strapped cats and bent star. But he stood. Pack clapped. Jamal's cheeks flamed swell shame twin. Darius rolled. But clock this, young blood specially. Jamal's fire weren't just our spare. It bared grind chewin' souls decades. Devin Brooks home with his gal 'cause Jamal sparked. 19 more free. 37 grindin' fair, town, whole hood. Eyed its own shade. Paused, pinned Jamal. Heavy yoke for sprout. So pitch. We vipers vow, not just Jamal, but hood wide. Vow be Willow Creek need, plain proof honor through shade. Shift open, link hood over dodge. Prove daily folks outrun tags. Bolt stepped. Add on. My gal Nia starts 4th fall, same as Jamal. Same yard teachers yanked me parent. 'Cause I warn't dad look. Voice taut, ire banked. Pitch fund for sprouts eatin' bias, need lift, voice, bank at ride halls, tag after the soul clocked us human first. Pack roared yes. Some Jamal missed hollered, Jamal Washington Fire Fund. Sudden claps louder. Jamal swamped, wet threaten. Mama's arm braced, steady. No need pipe, she breathed. Let him nod. But Jamal edged front, peep small but set. Don't want fund my tag. Too big. But maybe truth I fund, for who missed fair first scan. For all tagged pre-known. Hush deep. Then Darius beamed, real beam lighten his hole. Truth I it, lil blood, you outpace grown I know. As Bash broke packin', Jamal nabbed by Bolt's gal Nia, quiet about his years, daddy's dark lids, mama's coy beam. Sup, she said. Glad same grade, friends maybe, ain't many, folks odd on pops. Dig, Jamal owned. Me too, real just Malik. But maybe shift, maybe. Nia bobbed. Pops says flip now. Folks tryin', least that's seed. Home hoof, Jamal reared Darius's hog, but felt flipped. Lighter some, load known still. As they growled marsh back, sun crashin' rust violet aft, Jamal grasped core shift. Ne'er norm sprout again. Lot blazed trail mold tag him ways craved on. But fresh? Net claimin' him kin not blood, turf, but one truth over cozy tick. That evenin', post Darius drop, hog fade far, Latoya and Jamal porch starred. Marsh night cooled roast relief, frog thrum loud. Mama, Jamal hushed, reckon I right called? Not just tip, but trail? Latoya mulled choosin' words gold. Reckon you loan your gut, Let, and fall out good bad ain't yours to wrangle. You bared facts. World spins, that. World's tab. Glad I, Jamal said. Hard trail, all flipped, glad. Me too, sugar, Latoya tugged tight. Me too. 3 months on, chill nov dawn, Truth I Fund dropped official presser for Willow Creek Courthouse. First take. Devin Brooks, bankin' degree long-stalled lockup years. Second. Nia Ruiz, Bolt's gal, slates and gear through high. Jamal back crowd with mama, crisp threads, cuff-locked wrist permanent. Eyed Darius wire jaw, Devin crush his sprout, hood grind heel long hard. Warn't flawless. Still street crossers spyin' vipers roll. Still blaze on freed wrongs. Still holdout swearin' buck right, snagged tech hitch. But fresh links knit. Shopkeep's namin' vipers greet. Sprouts wavin' hogs over duck. Kin like Keisha's hopin' fresh. Lil winds maybe, wind still. Presser wrap, swarm thin. Darius caught Jamal's peep cross, nod weighty. said, "You sparked, you flipped, you count." And Jamal, first since that shake in Ruby's lot maybe, let it land. Truth'd weighed scare, swamp some, but needful. And in town 15 years comfy fables, needful facts tops gift any sling. As Jamal and Latoya hoofed home neath fall blaze, past pads and spots now clockin' 'em neighbor over odd, Jamal grazed cuff, Mullen Tyrone haze, spine through shakes, witness load, stand firm power. Still sprout keen games ball wolves, but more now. Proof lil pipes, truth raised, reshape hoods whole, and Willow Creek, Georgia that nov dawn, that sufficed, more'n all.